So we're going to look at how we find money, how we obtain that money, and then how we manage that money. So the first section, I'm going to introduce Lauren Ernie Flesner and Shobha Ramananan, and they're going to talk to you about the finding funding.
Basically, we assist faculty in finding, scanning the external grant funding environment and try to find specific grants for them. Some of the external funding sources are some of the databases which we use. These are the SciVal funding, which provides a comprehensive funding assistance of federal and private foundations. Our VPRGS website also lists many external funding resources and internal programs. Then the Office of the Research Facilitation and Dissemination also has funding or limited submission opportunities. These are emailed directly to faculty. As mentioned before in the earlier presentation, the MSU Libraries also offers grant and related resources, which also includes the Foundation Center. You may also, if this is on subscription, the Office of International Research and Collaboration also has funding resources available, as does the Environmental Science and Policy Program. You have to subscribe to the listserv, and they will also send you some of them, which are basically international programs as well as environmental grant funding resources.
Hi, so please download these slides and take a look at all of these links to identify funding sources. And once you identify a source that you'd like to pursue for your research, please reach out to the grant administrators in your unit to find out what resources are available locally for you in your unit. And then also reach out to VPRGS, because we provide a number of proposal assistance services. I'm from the Office of Research Facilitation and Dissemination, and our office works with faculty members to help provide and identify funding information that's relevant to your research so we can help you find funding opportunities to pursue. We also help with grant assistance. So if you would like help developing some of the supplementary materials that go along with your grants, such as letters of support or evaluation plans, please feel free to reach out to our office. We help with proposal editing and formatting, and we also help with budget assistance. All of these resources are freely available to people across campus, so please contact our office if you're interested in these services. Our office hosts seminars and workshops over the course of the academic year. Please look at the VPRGS calendar for more information about some of the upcoming events. I want to really quickly plug the Right Winning Grants event in January. Please check that out. That would be a wonderful event for all of you to attend. And finally, our office also provides travel support. So if you are interested in traveling to DC to meet with a program officer about your project, our office can help provide some support to offset the costs of those trips, and that's generally matched by your college or department. So if you're interested in these services, please contact me or my colleague Shobha.
Our office also provides other grant-related resources and services. The VPRGS grant consulting and editing services are also available. The consultants come once a month to the campus, and they are here for practically a week, and so people can meet with them. They offer consulting to discuss funding strategies, grant reviews, previous grant reviews, or first draft review. They also coordinate peer review coordination for scientific review of your proposal. They also provide editing, content logic, grammar, help selling proposals. They also do seminars and webinars. But to get the services, we advise faculty to reach out to them at least a couple of months before they're submitting a grant, so you can take full advantage of all these resources. And please do contact me and Lauren I'm Shobha and my colleague Lauren for grant assistance services when you're prepared to write a grant. Thank you.
We're on the section dealing now with the sponsored programs area. So the one more slide I have to share with you from the VP for Research Office, Doug Gage, is doing another session, and so he asked me to share some information. And you really want to know about this. This could be really, really sad for you if you didn't know about it. Limited submissions are something that a sponsor says, we'll only take one proposal or some defined number of proposals. If you're working on a proposal and it's a limited submission and you haven't been sanctioned by the university to be that one proposal, you could be doing a lot of work for nothing. So there is a process, a defined process. Doug Gage works with the VP, the research deans in the colleges, depending on the area of that limited proposal. He might deal with some faculty out of the grad college. There's just different ways that they work with each of them, and there's about 60 or 70 of these a year. Has anybody heard of limited submissions before? So it's something to keep in mind. If a proposal, if you find in a proposal, request for proposal information that they'll only take one application from each institution, make sure you check in. This is a really good piece of information to have. Now, I did want to talk about the sponsored programs area. And this slide isn't this could be drawn 100 different ways. PI is referring to the principal investigator or the project director. We have, on the next slide, I have acronyms defined, so don't get lost if some of these words don't mean anything to you. The idea is that we help facilitate with a lot of units on campus. We are responsible for signing proposals, reviewing and signing them. We're responsible for awards, signing and reviewing and signing those awards, but we end up working with a lot of areas. Sometimes it takes more than just what we know to solve things that come into those proposals or come into those awards. So it really does take a lot of people in some cases. These are the acronyms I mentioned. And then I wanted to mention a little bit about our area. If you've worked with the sponsored programs area at other institutions, a lot of institutions have a separate a post-award area that reports to finance, a pre-award area that reports to a VP for research. We have a very integrated approach here at MSU. I have the pleasure of reporting to two VPs, both the finance and the research VP. And the research VP is the link into the faculty. The finance VP, it helps us with information. It helps us with some of the financial components that we need to resolve or we need to work with. And so it helps us to have an integrated approach. We have a pre-award office, which I mentioned before, and a post-award office. And then we have a unit that supports those two units. And if you can't see that up there, I do hope you look at them online. So a couple helpful resources before we go into a little bit more so that you know who handles what at MSU in the sponsored area. We have most departments and colleges do provide some assistance locally. How many of you know that you have some assistance locally? That somebody you know to go to if you have? I don't see enough hands. Oh, more. Okay, good. Well, if you don't know who to go ask, how about, do you know your research dean in your college? So let me give you a couple pieces of advice. One is to check in with your chair to find out who your research dean is and if there's a research administrator that helps you at the department or college level with proposals. If you can't find it out that way, feel free, there's contact information on here for sponsored programs. Feel free to ask us and we'll see if we can help you. We also help with questions and advice. We have web resources, including some video clips that have that people have actually told us are pretty good. We have people to help you with things like transferring grants from another institution. So we know that's a pre-award activity here, even though it's a post-award activity where you might have left. So the proposal team member, and you should have gotten in your packet the proposal team contact for your college. There is a handout in your packet that would give you that. But if you don't, these slides online will also give you a link to that particular place. And then we also have ways for you to get information, news and updates. For instance, if a federal agency gives us information that would be helpful to an application process, we share it through a listserv. And so feel free to sign up for that also. One of the things on our website, and this came from a few faculty members, is that we do organize things by the life cycle of an award. So we start with getting the funding all the way through the award closeout. And this particular icon is clearly represented in our website. There's a bar up at the top, which you click on the particular spot in the bar, it'll take you to different places within our web page. And the good news about it is it has tools on your left that will help you depending on where you are in the life cycle. So there's different tools provided in the corner of the screen depending on where you are in the life cycle. And it also provides you in the corner, if you want orientation, there's an icon. If you want orientation to our website, you can get helpful information there. Okay, at this point I'd like Katie Cook to come and talk a little bit.
Good afternoon. I'm just going to do a really quick few slides on the Office of Sponsored Programs, which is like Twila mentioned, is the PreAward Office within Michigan State. We have signature authority on proposals and awards. And as you can see up here, basically how you would start is if you decide that you would like to apply to a research opportunity, a funding opportunity, they call them solicitations, there's many words for them. I do recommend contacting your research administrator within your department or college. You can talk to other faculty members to find out who that is, or your chair or dean, like Twila mentioned. Once you do that, you will work with that administrator to put together that proposal. When you're starting that proposal and while you're building that proposal, you'll want to contact the Office of Sponsored Programs. We have 2 proposal teams who will go through and review and help submit your proposal on behalf of Michigan State University. We also, in addition to submitting proposals for the university, we have 2 award teams. There's multiple, we call them contract teams technically, but they will get the awards in the door. So if you get an award from somebody for a sponsored program or an activity, external activity that you're doing, please send that over to the Office of Sponsored Programs. We do have a contact list in which it'll tell you which team to send it to based off of which college you're in. You'll take that award, you'll send it to us, we'll review and negotiate on behalf of Michigan State and get it set up in an account for you to spend so you can start your project. Just a few tips from the pre-award side here for proposals. I want to run through, take short time, and this sounds like a silly bullet point, but it really is important to please review your solicitation, funding opportunity, RFA, whatever it's called that you are applying to. Read it carefully. This is a huge reason as to why we get proposals kicked out of the system. The funder says you did not meet the specifications to the solicitation, and so you will not be considered for funding, and that's the last thing that we want. We will try to help with that also. However, we really recommend that the PI does this because it may be a programmatic term that you need to really pay attention to. Start your budget early. You have to cost the project appropriately. Please work with the administrator to do that. Really it needs to be 6 days prior to the deadline, if preferably before that. That's really kind of the limit, mainly because we have to work out things in regards to facilities administration, et cetera, on the budget. With our new system, which was mentioned at the plenary, we do have a new enterprise level system, which I'm going to also talk about. But please know that you'll have to log in if your administrator is building the proposal within the system. You'll have to log in, you'll have to review, approve, and complete your conflict of interest. To do that, the system is really good for multiple reasons, but it's not incredibly intuitive. I highly recommend watching this video that we've posted on here that's in your slides. It's not a long video, and it'll really give you exactly what you need to do that. And also your administrator can help you. Also, the last 3 bullet points real quick is regarding the MSU proposal deadline policy. We do request that the proposal to be an on-time submission is 3 days prior to your deadline. That allows us to get it reviewed and submitted 1 day prior to the deadline so you can see what the submitted product was, particularly the ones that are going to the federal government within our system, which I'll mention. Also, your college or department may have lead time policies. Please work with your administrators, but also note that they may have to get a bunch of information to us, and so you'll want to do that at least per their policy, which may be a few days before the 3-day submission policy that we have. And if it is received the day of the deadline, and we have to review it the day of the deadline, your research dean will have to, associate dean for research, will have to approve it before we can actually submit the proposal. As I mentioned, enterprise level system for research administration, you'll have to log in and approve. There's a lot of benefits to this. You can see the whole life cycle from proposal to award. You can see your conflict of interest. There's a lot of good information in there. It collects a lot of data, so there'll be good reporting. However, please know that there are a lot of e-learning courses to help you get through the system, to know what you're looking at, and so we've given you a bunch of resources on that. If you have general proposal questions, though, do work with your proposal and award, but note that we do have a help desk for technical issues if you do need that assistance, and they're very good and very responsive. And then 2 very quick things is that when you get an award, send it to us. Please also note when you do get an award, if we contact you and say we've received an award that's on your behalf, you may have some compliance approvals that are needed. Please start that as soon as possible. We can help you identify what compliance approvals that will be needed. But as you heard in the plenary, you have IRB, IACUC, there's export control. There may be things that you'll need to get approvals on before you can start the project. And just note that we may request your assistance in negotiation, but generally we take the lead with the sponsors. We have a developed relationships or people within, and then we can quickly, hopefully, get that streamlined through the system to get your account set up. So I will hand it over to the Contracting Grant Administration Director, Yvonne Padawi.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to do this pretty quickly for you because I know we're getting short on time. Basically, your award is going to be negotiated, it's going to be signed, and you're going to get an account number. And then from then on out, my office is going to be your point of contact along with your department administrators if you have questions. On this slide, you're going to see how our office is broken out. We have an awards group, transactions reports, and cash management. Right now, that doesn't mean much to you. But if you go to the website and you look up the org chart, those groups have points of contact for you to give a call to if you have any issues with any of those items that are up there. In general, our office, we are structured for the terms and conditions of the award. There's federal, non-federal, industry, and other. And so we use that as guidance when we're reviewing the compliance terms and conditions of your agreements. Audits is probably the most important message that I want to extend. We have about 30 to 35 external audits that happen on sponsored research awards every year. Usually what they'll do is these agencies will contact faculty directly. Don't respond, just send it to our office, me in particular. We'll take it from there. We're the ones that are experienced in responding to these audits. We know what we're doing in there, and we should be the point of contact. If we need to reach out to you for some programmatic information, we'll do that. Otherwise, just send it to us and understand that we'll take care of it from there. And then again, as you guys get started and you want to get more comfortable with the process, at any time you have any questions, or maybe you just receive your first big award and you want to have some one-on-one time, go ahead and reach out to us, give us a call, contact me. We'll invite you to our office, or we can come to your lab or your office, and we can sit down and talk you through the award process and provide you with some of the tools. We can show you some of the tools that are available to you to better manage your award.
Okay, we will wrap this up pretty quickly. I'm going to just say on the SPA group, the group I told you is back, it's pretty much considered back office, but we do have training on campus. We do have systems that group supports. We have process improvement projects that are out of that group, and they've been helpful to both offices. I'm going to cover just a few metrics because I want to share a couple things with you. the research and research administration metrics, if you want to look at what MSU's done in terms of counts for proposals and awards, you can see the dotted line is the counts, and the solid line is the awards and the proposal dollars. You will find that the proposals are on the top because we do a lot more of those than we do then we get the awards, but we have been going up on our awards, even though you see our counts have been going down. They've been in an inverse relationship with the amount of awards we've been getting. We have been keeping our dollars up. And that is kind of in keeping with the federal landscape. This is a slide I want to share with you, not so much for the content, but for the importance of getting feedback from you as you go through the process. We have point of service feedback. You get a web survey, asks you 3 or 4 questions, gives you a chance to give us comments. We've been doing it for about 3 years now, and it has shown us over time where we have areas that we need to work on. We have a 97% satisfaction on a proposal, so I can tell you that we've got a really committed group. I hope you'll find the same that others have found, but it's all the way through the process, we have satisfaction rates that are quite good, and I'm happy to talk to you more about that offline. And then we also have groups working to help you. So the research deans, as I mentioned, they come together research deans from each college come together into a council, and we connect with them. These are groups that we either started or we're engaged with. And so the core is something we're engaged with. The advisory committee, we have 7 faculty and 5 administrators that come in and give me advice. We have a number of committees, work groups that are helping make processes better, like our electronic systems and the way we handle international projects. And then we have 2 at the bottom. The 2 indicated at the bottom are dealing with giving training for the research administrators. And at this point, any questions? Okay, so you can see our contact information is on there. I see one question. Okay, we'll get it offline. We are kind of running behind. We very much appreciate the chance to welcome you to MSU. It's a great place. I've been in the field for a very long time at MSU for about 6 years, and I just find it to be a fantastic campus. Thank you.